Well, hello. We're going to ask a simple question today. Should you be fluid or should you be rigid? And I think the pond and the canal behind me, if you can see, you've got a pond there which is rigid and you've got a nice canal that is fluid. Good metaphors for today. And a warm welcome to one and all. And for those of you who have not seen me before, my name is Langers and I am the very cold scruffy trader. It's the weekend, got my coffee, so it must be coffee time with Scruff. Now this week is in a little different setting. As you can see, I'm not in my office or even in my home. I'm away for a little mini break. We're out in the Derbyshire Dales, in the middle of nowhere, as you might have seen as I was having a wander along the veranda. And behind me, give me some inspiration for today, because there's a giant pond and there's also a canal. Now that canal is what got me thinking, because a lot of traders are stuck in their ways and they are rigid. They stick to risk reward. It must be 1 to 3. It must be this set of rules. X must mark the spot. No, not necessary. So I guess you need to ask yourself a question. Are you a canal or a river? Or are you a pond stuck in your ways? Personally, I am the canal. I have a framework that I work to and a set of rules within that framework, and it is going in a flow. It's not bounded rigidly. So my risk reward changes all the time. I'm a great believer in my stop is completely separate to the profit, and the rules are a framework that flow from level to level. So that's what we're kind of going to discuss today. But beforehand, I'm going to drop onto the computer screen, because believe it or not, I've got a setup here as well. I bring a mobile setup with me all the time. If I'm going abroad, it's a laptop. And when I'm sort of here in a lodge or a wood cabin in the middle of nowhere, I just bring an all-in-one computer that I can just plonk on the desk, put a keyboard on it, and away we go. Why? Very rarely switch off, guys. I love what I do for a living. So as I said, I'll give you an update of the 5%ers. It's the account that I'm going to build up in front of you, and we'll see where we're up to with it. So let me jump on the screen and then I'll come back to you.
Well, we're waiting.
Okay guys, here's a live statement of the 5%ers account. If you're unfamiliar with what the 5%ers are, or what a prop fund is for that matter, I'll go through it in just a second when I've shown you this. But this is the small account that I set up to show you the journey over the course of the next sort of few months, maybe till the end of the year. Now the idea is to build it up. Now when I did this last year, I took a similar account from inception to 6 figures, and I did it live with you with statements. And that's the thing, because when you see a lot of guys out there saying they can do this, they will show you a trading view, show you a cherry picked chart, but they won't show you the results. That's what this statement is. It is the results, because even if you are using 2 charts, buying on one, selling on the other, you can't do it with a statement, because it will show the losses up. Okay, so what we're seeing here is a decent equity curve straight up, which is good. Now, the way I work these prop funds, and that'll become apparent in just a second, is I look at the drawdown and assume that's the account, and I use the balance as the leverage. That way it keeps the position size in check and it allows the trades to breathe. So I started this essentially with 400 and it has grown. I have hit the milestone, which is $600, and this account is now quadrupled into 40,000. Now, as we go forward in this journey, you will see that this balance is a lot greater, and I'll do you a quick snapshot of that. I'll show you where it is because it's only just been hit this week, so it's just in its inception. Okay. Now, how long did it take me to do this? Well, I did it in 28 days. So I'm pretty pleased with that. That's one of the good things with this prop fund. You have plenty of time in order to achieve your goals. You know, and that's all about. Time is key. And that comes back to, are you rigid or a canal? Because sometimes you just stuck in your ways and you want everything now instead of just letting it flow. So as we go down into the stats, I took 324 trades in that period. I had a win rate of 89%. And the most important part to look for is your profit factor. If it is greater than 1, it means it's profitable and sustainable. This account is 3.7. Okay, and if you go through the other videos, you'll see some of the other statements that I've put up, because I do trade a number of accounts for these guys, and they pay me very well at the end of each month, and quite happy with the progress. Okay, so there you go. There's the stats, and if you want to see the deal tickets, because it's always show me a statement, I want to see the statement. This is your statement, and there's all the deal tickets. Okay, now when you're day trading, you want to get in and you want to get out. Don't outstay your welcome, you know, because if you are sort of trying to hang on for the big trade, you'll find you'll get clipped more often than not. If you're swing trading and you're planning for it, that's a different kettle of fish, guys. So what are the 5%ers? Well, if I just pop this over onto here, they are essentially a prop fund, and a prop fund is a company that will put the money up for you to go to market, and then there's a profit split between you. In this case, it's 50-50, depending on which platform you're going. They do a boot camp, which is low entry. It is only 50 euros to get in, and if you go through the challenges, they'll give you a 100k account, and that 100k account goes up to a massive fund. The fund that I am taking is instant funding. And what's the difference between the two? Instant funding is exactly what it says it is. You are live in the markets day 1. So if you achieve your milestone, because once you hit your milestone, that's it. Your account quadruples, then doubles and doubles and doubles. You are building up your profits from day 1. Okay. So this is the program that you've just seen. 180 days to pass it. 50% payout split. So if you do 200, they get 100, you get 100. But think about it. Once you through the milestones, the risk is on the 5%ers, not on you. And I think a 50-50 is more than fair, because you do see prop funds that have very high profit splits, but the rules are so rigid, you'll never pass it. These guys want you to succeed, so they keep it as fair as they can. Every time you hit a milestone, once you are through level 1, they double your account. And if you look here, it kind of should show you where we are. There we go. So there you are. You do your first 600, they'll give you 40k, which is what they've just done for myself. Put 4,000 into that, because you've only got to grow the account by 10%, and there's no time limits. You've just got to steady your way through. That then becomes 80, 160, to 1.2 million and then up to a massive 2.5 million. This is life-changing, guys, and it's why I do it. And then if you go down into the boot camp, if you're reasonably good, it's a very low buy-in. So again, everything is on the 5%ers once you get through it, and you pass these challenges, you get a 100k account, which will grow to 4 million. And as you are going up, eventually it'll become an 80-20 split, depending on how far up the ladder you go. Right? So to me, that is about as good as it gets, guys. So if you're interested in trying that, do go in the description. You will find a discount code which will give you 5% off. There's also plenty of other links in there that'll help you. And if you want to come along and have a chat with me, you'll find the various sort of ways to contact me. And there's a free Telegram group there as well, so you can talk amongst yourselves. What I will say about the Telegram group is, though, there's no sellers allowed in there. It's not a signal service, and if I see any of that, they're kicked out straight away. It is literally for traders to talk amongst themselves freely without being hassled by any of the course sellers. Anyway, enough of that. Let me give you a few thoughts on how to apply yourself to trading.
Isn't that logical?
Okay, guys, so I'm out here today in the lodge. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I said I'd give a few thoughts on trading. And behind me, as I was alluding to at the start, you can see at the front there's a canal running past these trees, and then further back there is a pond just over there, and it's beautiful. And this whole place is lovely. I mean, the lodge we're in, I kind of fault it, you know. It's big, it's airy, and if you watch the channel you see me in that thing later on, because I'm going to have a right jolly time inside that hot tub. But what am I doing? Well, let me go inside and we'll talk. It might look bright and one thing and another, but it is actually pretty brisk out there today. And again, I think that is something to put into your trading as well, because as you can see, I've got a t-shirt on, and am I prepared to be outside? No, I'm not. So was I rigid or fluid in that instance? Well, I was actually rigid, because I always wear a t-shirt. You know, why? Because I'm a big guy, and it's sort of just the way I am, you know. I like a t-shirt. I'm not really a polished person. So I've wandered outside onto the veranda, and it looked beautiful, and it looks sunny and all of that, but it's actually about -2. So was I prepared for it? No, I wasn't. I should have had a hat on, a coat, gloves, and be duffled up. And why was that? Because I was rigid in my thinking. You know, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't fluid. It's because it's something I've always done. I always wear a t-shirt. So I wandered out on the veranda and I froze myself. Now there was a glimmer of hope in the sign of a hot tub. And trust me, I will be in that. But that is just a fluke. And that's something what trading is. You see, a lot of people do that. They don't prepare for the trade. They're not fluid. They're not going with the flow. They're zooming in on too small a time frame. Maybe it's a 5 minute or 15, and stopping there. They're not looking any further. They're then thinking to moving average cross. Therefore, that's what I have to do. No. If you're fluid and you're following the canal, and I know it's a strange analogy, but it's kind of the way that I think about things. Follow the price like the canal, and then prepare for it. So personally, I do things backwards. I start with the high time frames, and I'll work my way down to a low time frame to enter the market, and then I'll work backwards back to the high time frames for exit. I am following the flow. I'm not staying in a single place. And I genuinely hope that makes sense. And the idea of this coffee with Scruff is really just to get you to think along them lines. Not to be, well, trapped in your own little pond. Get yourself in the river and then follow the river. And then, who knows, you might find a better destination because the river keeps on going. And where does rivers flow to? Well, they flow to the ocean. And then if you follow the ocean, you find yourself in a very exotic, far off land. That's trading. If you're in a pond, you'll only ever stay in the pond. So, few little bit of thoughts here on a Sunday. I'm going to wander off now. Apparently, I've got to go and walk around that lot and follow the canals. Why? Because the love of my life says I have to. And that's the only rigid part of my life, because what she says goes. And I like to make her happy. So, something to think about. And I'll be interested in your thoughts on that. And I know there's a lot of people, and I'm already prepared for the morons, that'll kick off saying, ah, that's crap, blah, blah, blah. It's just about out-the-box thinking. And if you can master that, you'll master the charts. Anyway, guys, quick one today, because I am on a break, and back to normal midweek. So, as always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.